Quality over quantity, quality over quantity, quality over quantity. This is my mantra right now. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alyssa and I'm here again with another wrap up at TBR combined video because I'm garbage. I do really keep telling myself it's quality over quantity, and I know it doesn't matter if you read 5 books a month or 1 book a month, such as myself, or if you read 20 books a month. Great! I am not one of those people, obviously. And if you're still here, despite how little I read, you're awesome. I really wish I could manage to read more, but my months just get so busy. A lot of unexpected things came up this month that I was not planning for. I thought this was going to be a chill month. Boy howdy was I wrong. The beginning of the month started off with a bang. It kind of kept going till about mid-July, and then the end of July my husband was out of town for a week with our church, so reading kind of went out the window. So I'm trying my best here. I really have great ambitious plans and I really do want to read things. It's just by the end of the day my brain is so fried that thinking and using my brain to read just sounds like too much. I don't know if anybody else has been there, but I have an awful lot. So let's get started because I've already been throwing myself under a bus far too many times. So the only book I managed to finish in July was The Diviners by Libba Bray. This is a supernatural historical fiction set in 1920s New York during Prohibition and the jazz era, and it's so rich and wonderful. The descriptions alone really make you feel like you're there. We follow our main character Evie O'Neill, who is a diviner. She can take normal everyday objects, hold them in her hands, and read a deep dark secret of that person. And she uses this ability later on to help solve a murder case, who ends up being a serial killer, who may or may not be a human. There's also other fantastic characters throughout this book, and they all kind of intertwine in a way, some of which you don't quite understand why yet, but it's coming. I highly recommend this if you love just a good character-driven story, but also with a really decent plot. I obviously loved this. This was a reread actually, and I listened to the audiobook and I 10 out of 10 recommend it. The narrator is so good. She can do so many voices, accents, and she sings in it, which is pretty cool. I loved it. So glad I got my reread, and now I'm on to the next one. So now on to the TBR that I probably won't actually finish, per usual. I hope so. I'm already on my way to finishing 2. That's more than I can say now. So speaking of The Diviners, I did start Lair of Dreams recently on audiobook and I am absolutely loving it. I am barely through this. I haven't even made a dent. And I still absolutely loving it. It is so good. I've never read this one. I think I started it a few years ago when it came out, around then, and I read the first 50 to 60 pages and I just wasn't in the mood, and I've never picked it up since. So it was high time. This is a goal of mine for the year, finish this series. So this kind of continues with our characters from The Diviners, however it follows a different plot line, and also some stuff from the previous book come into play in this one. Also new characters are introduced who I love. And yeah, I'm pretty stoked about this one. I feel like I haven't mentioned this in a while, but why did we change the covers? This one's not bad comparatively to the newer covers they have for these. These have gotten a cover change 3 or 4 times. This is the best, hands down. The next book that I'm nearly finished with is Take Me Home Tonight by Morgan Matson. I am thoroughly enjoying this. I was a little nervous going in because it's so short and because I just love Morgan Matson's books so much. Her last release, which was Save the Date, I didn't like as much as the rest of them, so I was a little nervous this was going to fall into that same category, and so far it is hard-hitting, it is very character and friendship driven, but it also had this weird twist I was not expecting in a couple ways, and I finally understand why they did the reverse jacket the way they did. If you know, you know. So now that I've read this book and I can give you a better description, or nearly finished anyway. Let's do that. So this is about two best friends, Stevie and Kat, who through a variety of circumstances decide to go on a 24-hour trip to New York just to kind of celebrate a birthday, but also go see a play, do wild things, and unfortunately, throughout the course of the evening, they both happen to not have their cell phones. So obviously, it's a bit chaotic because neither of them go to New York that often. Kat is a very focused person. She really finds something she likes, latches onto it, and just grabs it by the horns. While Stevie is kind of in this weird limbo of, what do I want to do with my life? Do I want to do the thing that my friend is really into and be with her, or do my own thing? She also has a lot of family stuff going on as well. We also follow a babysitter. And that is all I will say, because that is a huge spoiler. We follow a babysitter. Morgan Matson just does such a great job of weaving characters together and really making you feel for them, and they just feel so realistic. I don't think her characters feel too cheesy or too mature. She's got a great balance for, you know, the age range she writes for. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. We'll probably finish this in the next couple of days because I am hooked. This portion of my TBR is brought to you by embarrassment. That's because I completely forgot that I was reading this book. Literally forgot till I saw it on my Goodreads that I was currently reading it, and I was like, oh crap. Keepers of the Lost City, Exile. How I forgot, I don't know. It's those darn book sleeves, man. So this is the second book to Keepers of the Lost City, which I've talked about a lot, so I'm not really going to talk about it too long, but I forgot that I was reading this. My brother has since moved on to something else, so I obviously was like not pressured to read this month, and I literally forgot. And I really do want to continue on with it. I really hope to finish it this month so I don't have to come back here and have my sponsor of the video be embarrassment. Okay, next we have Master of Sorrows by Justin T. Call. No, I'm not finished with this. I really wanted to because it's so good. But honestly, again, with my brain being fried, I haven't wanted to pick up fantasy. I've wanted easy things like Take Me Home Tonight. I read a lot, and I'm about like 70% through or something ridiculous. I just haven't gotten around to finishing this one yet, and I really, really want to. So this is priority number one next to Take Me Home Tonight. This is a dark fantasy following a Nev who is part of this school where they train to be avatars and then eventually masters in finding magical objects and getting rid of them and putting them in the big vault. But for a Nev, he can use magic. He also has like a magic arm, so that's kind of awkward and puts him in a really precarious spot. And we kind of follow him through his journey of choosing between right and wrong and following his path and hopefully ending up being a decent individual, even though this is a villain origin story. I'm still holding out for hope. But I'm really enjoying this. I'm actually contemplating buying the hardcover of this, one, because I like it so much, and two, because apparently they, the publisher, the place that makes the books, the publishing house. Yeah, that's, duh. I know terms. They decided it was a good idea to put this plastic film thing over the top of this book, and it is literally peeling off. And I hate it so much. It bothers me so much. So I'm probably going to buy the hardcover and then give this to my library or the Goodwill or anybody who might want it that I know of. And I'm like, here, take this book. I don't want it because it's falling apart. Love you. If y'all could see my cat right now, it's pretty funny. It's giving me those paint me like one of those French women vibes. So I have two books I'm hoping to start in August, and then I have two books that I have to start in August. Because book club's starting back up again, baby! So the first one being Wings of Shadows by Nicki Preto. I've talked at great length of this series. I am finally going to be starting the third one as soon as I am done with Master of Sorrows. And gonna dive right in because I am itching to read this. Every time I pass my shelves, it taunts me. So here we are. And then I also want to start Master Artificer by Justin T. Call. This is the second book I bought in hardcover because I was not about to buy another peel and paperback. This is the second book to the long series that is Master of Sorrows, and all that stuff. This one's a lot bigger and it's really heavy, so I'm gonna put it down now, but I want to read this. Okay, and quickly for a book club. So if you don't know, I have a book club with our homeschool group, and I have 2 age ranges. I have 3rd through 5th grade, and then I have the 6th and up class. So I get to pick a book. We all read certain chapters a week, and it lasts till like end of November. So this is like the last time I'm going to talk about it till I'm done with them. The first one being for the younger kids is Alone by Megan E. Freeman, I believe. I don't have the physical copies because I haven't ordered them yet. I really need to. This is the story about a girl who goes to a sleepover and wakes up completely alone. Like, everyone in her town has disappeared and she has to figure out where they all went. And it's told in verse, which we have never done a book in verse before in my class. So I'm really excited to try it. Dive in. We'll be going by page number instead of chapter, so hopefully this works. And then for the older kids, we are reading They Went Left by Monica Hesse. I had to think of the author because, again, don't have it. And this is a post-World War II story. This is after the Germans are defeated, and our main character is in search of her brother who went the opposite way of her, and she's hoping to find some sort of family, her brother. It's gonna be sad, it's gonna be hard-hitting, and I know that Monica Hesse is a very good historical fiction writer. I've never read any of her books, but I've heard really good things, so I'm looking forward to diving in with this with the kids and having some really good discussion. Okay, so this looks ridiculously ambitious, and it is. Oh my gosh. This isn't even including the 2 I don't have. My arms hurt, and I have to keep this till I get my thumbnail. I hate my life. So there you have it. That's my wrap-up and TBR for July and August. Let me know down below your reading. And of course, if you're not subscribed, you should totally do that. And if you want to, give this video a thumbs up. Totes up to you. And I will see you guys very, very soon in the next video. Bye-bye!